that Patrick Mahomes didn't have his security blanket. And you know a lot of those plays and those big moments would have went to Travis Kelce, whether it's double team, triple team, and we're accustomed to seeing him make those plays. I think we can't slight the Detroit Lions about what they did because they were playing, left-handed as well. Because if they have a guy like James Williams, what I saw a lot of 8-man in the box. I saw a lot of sitting at the sticks because they don't have a receiver that can stretch the football. But if James Williams is in there, maybe you have some more explosive plays as well. We understand how dynamic he is. He's on suspension for 6 games. So I don't want to short the Lions for what they're able to do. That offensive line lived up to the billing. And even if Chris Jones was there, if you run away from him, the Chris Jones effect isn't there. That offensive line lived up to the billing. They're making a case to be the best offensive line in all of football. And I love the chippiness and nastiness in which they play with.
I want to go back to the Mahomes piece of it here because particularly in the first half last night, there was a moment, I think I tweeted, like, he's doing this all by himself. I mean, every single play that was made last night, he seemed to make all by himself. There's no question that the 52 players that surround the quarterback on Detroit are way better than the 52 players that surround the quarterback on Kansas City. Why are you making that face at me?
I mean, Kansas City played well. I thought their offensive line gave him protection. I understand that maybe they weren't getting open, but Mahomes, and he has a lot of talent around him.
He does?
Depth at running back, Pacheco, you think about Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Mahomes was their leading rusher last night.
The offensive line protected. The right tackle false started on every single play.
But that's a whole nother story. If you're not cheating, you ain't trying.
I guess what I'm saying is Mahomes is the best we've ever seen. No one has ever been better playing that position in any given moment in time than he is right now. But he can't do it by himself. I get Travis Kelce will make a big difference. But I wonder if that, even as great as he is enough. I thought there were some alarming signs last night.
When you're a team like the Chiefs and you're looking for to build a dynasty, we don't want to overreact on week 1 the way that maybe I have already. But you have to understand that the margin of error is so slim, especially once you get to what matters for the Chiefs is getting that first round bye, getting home field advantage. Those things are hugely important to them. So I understand. Maybe I'm going crazy by saying the dynasty is in a tenuous state right now, but you're going to be looking back at a game that you could have won and you probably should have won late in the season and be really regretting what happened here.
They got the 1 seed last year by a half a game. Right? Like that was why they had the 1 seed over Buffalo. And if Buffalo had played and won the game against Cincinnati that got canceled, then Buffalo would have had the tiebreaker. That's how close it was to so now you're in a situation where maybe the AFC Championship game is not in Kansas City because you lost a game or 2 in September that you could have won if you had your best players on the field.
Maybe you have to play wild card weekend.
Maybe you have to play deal. Like 3 games to get the Super Bowl instead of 2, right?
Matter. And you're going to be relying on these same group of receivers because
but they'll get better as the season progresses because they'll get comfortable in their role. This is the first game, I understand that. But this is the cost of doing business. Whenever you pay your quarterback so much money, a reoccurring theme that's happening, that's why Chris Jones can't get his money because Patrick Mahomes just saw what Burrow got. He's going to say, give me 60, and that's going to be not enough money to get depth. They're razor thin, and that's what happens when you have superstars.
The reason they won the Super Bowl last year, other than having Mahomes, is those young guys on defense all contributed at a high level. They're going to need that from the young guys.
I mean, this is part of the good and bad comes to being the Cowboys quarterback because Dak Prescott is not reckless. He wasn't reckless last year. He's never been reckless. He had a rough year. There were some tip balls. There were some bad passes. So if there is any focus in the Cowboys facility on changing the way that Dak Prescott plays to make him less aggressive or less reckless, like he never was reckless, that is a mistake. So I hope that Mike McCarthy and Jerry Jones and anybody in that organization is not like, hey, Dak, don't throw picks. He don't do that. It was one rough year. Relax.
Since I'm on one today, I'll do another one. Because Graziano just said the Cowboys want to be run the ball. No, they can't. That team can't do that. They've got Tony Pollard as their featured back. If Tony Pollard touches the ball 25 times a game, he won't make it to Halloween. I think they're going to have to be flinging it all over the place.
Well, and that's why you go out and get Brandon Cooks so that you can keep the box honest. So then you can have, you can spread the field vertically and horizontally. You think about, is Kenny Galladay, not Galladay.
Michael Gallup.
Yeah, Michael Gallup kind of be back to what he was, kind of like that Swiss Army knife in between in the slot. So you think about it, you have to push the ball down the field. But I'm not taking advice from Eli Manning. He's a Manchurian candidate. You think he wishes anything good for the Dallas Cowboys? Like he said, no, be aggressive, throw it down the field. Like, Wink, I got you, Wink. I got you, Wink.
I'll say this though, Eli did play like that. Like there was never a throw Eli was worried he couldn't make, and if he threw an interception, he forgot about it 5 seconds later, and he'd try that throw again on the next play.
Yeah, but he has more than 2 playoff wins.
what he preaches. Yeah, exactly. But look, I think Dak Prescott's fine. I agree with Domonique completely. He's never been an interception guy in his career before last year. I think we can chalk that up to last year being a bad year, and I don't think he's carrying it with him. We talk about his interceptions, but I don't think he's in the locker room going over all his interceptions still. I think he did that early in the offseason and put it behind him.
Well, if he has a couple interceptions early in the season, whether they're his fault, miscommunications or not, let's see how that affects it. Because if you have the great defense, how you say Domonique says they have the #1 defense, you have to play to that. So that means not being as risky and being able to lean on the defense and play the field position game. So if that's the case and that's philosophy, maybe that changes his approach.
I need to call timeout in the middle of this conversation. Domonique, did you just say you believe the Cowboys may have as good a defense as there is in the NFL?
Yeah, I said as talented a defense as there is in the NFL.
No disagreement.
Okay.
If Dak Prescott then is a top-tier quarterback, they should be the Super Bowl favorite. I don't feel like they are. Do you feel you're picking them to go to the Super Bowl?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay, now we're talking.
I picked them to win the division and go to the Super
They're
Bowl.
going to beat the Eagles in the division.
And beat San Francisco.
Absolutely. Beat them too. Yeah, all of them. Why are you looking at me like that?
Somebody get him some milk.
What I need
Talk to
milk
him.
for?
Why do you
My bones
disagree?
are strong.
Why do you disagree?
Well, when you look at just the past history, whenever Dak has a dude on the other side that's equal or greater, he's never lived up to expectation. Now, I know he may be able to get over the hump, and there's a lot of excuses, but he's been in the league for 8 years. He's only has 2 playoff wins. And, he beat an old Tom Brady, and he won one early in his career.
He lost to Brock Purdy last year. Forget about beating great players. Brock Purdy outplayed him and them in a playoff game last year.
So this is Dak's problem. I wonder if he can live up to the pressure, because whether he wants to admit it or not, when you see what Joe Burrow just got paid, an extension for Dak Prescott just went up. And I'm not paying that if I got to pay Michael Parsons more than what Nick Bosa just got paid. So you talk about, they got some credit card bills coming to due, and I don't know if Dak, if he can't prove himself, is going to be on his roster.
I want you to be right. You know me. You know where my interests lie. There's nothing in the world I want more than for you to be right. But that's what it feels like to me. Put the picks on the screen, by the way. Just Sunday night game, monster game, Giants-Cowboys. Split down the middle. Graziano and Bartholomew like the Giants. Go ahead.
I mean, the absurdity of the conversation about Dak, we talk about him like he's the MMA fighter. Like, yeah, he hasn't beaten certain quarterbacks because the Cowboys haven't beaten certain teams. It's not because Dak is not bad.
He's played bad in all those playoff games.
Yeah, lots of quarterbacks play bad occasionally. The point is, this team is really talented, and they have a quarterback who is capable of taking them to the promised land. You can look around the league, not very many teams, especially in the NFC, have that. Look around the NFC. Who you want if you don't want Dak Prescott? The point is Jalen Hurts? That about it?
Hold up. Geno Smith, I can trust him in a tight moment. And that team is loaded.
Well, we haven't seen that.
You better don't sleep on Seattle now.
But that's. I understand what you're saying, and I don't disagree.
They got about the same amount of playoff wins. What the hell are you talking about?
I don't know that the way that you look at a player is to say, well, there's no one else in the NFC better. The question is Dak Prescott ready to elevate a team that has the best defense, in your words, top-level defense, and I don't disagree, as anybody else, this is the year. He's got to get them there. I love the kid. I hope he does it.
Over the course of Dak's career, especially in the recent seasons, he's been incredible, and that offense has been incredible. If that defense is as good as the talent suggests, yes.
We now turn to our attention to Sunday and look ahead to some potential Sunday surprises. Let's talk about some potential upsets. The Bengals are favored against Cleveland. Graziano, do the Browns pull off a surprise?
I think it's possible, Greeny. I really do. I think I am picking the Bengals to win the Super Bowl, but I believe they may have to overcome an 0-1 start to do it. The Browns are 5-1 against Cincinnati over the last 3 years. Joe Burrow missed basically all of camp with that calf injury. Last year when he missed all of camp, he threw 4 interceptions in the opener. If he's rusty, they may have a problem.
Bartholomew, the Patriots are a home underdog against the Eagles. Are they going to pull off a surprise?
Negatory. I mean, you talk about the best team in NFC. You talk about the best offensive line in football. They lost some pieces, but they did a tremendous job in addressing those issues in free agency and inside of the draft.
Bart, does your topic bar actually say hell no?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a first.
Yeah.
That's a first.
Because we got to take the gray out sometimes. Just keep it all the way Rizzo. Come on, quit playing.
Hell no. Domonique, 49ers are favored at Pittsburgh. Are the Steelers going to pull off a Sunday surprise?
Pository. I believe the Steelers, they pulled off a big surprise in week 1 last year against the Bengals when they had 4 interceptions against Joe Burrow. And I think that they look a lot better on offense this year, especially addressing some of their issues on the O-line, and that defense is going to be nasty. So I do think they pull off the win.
Okay, I was just thinking about this literally as you were answering that question. And so let me just throw this thought out there. Kenny Pickett was a first-round pick. Brock Purdy was the last pick in the draft. And yet we go into this game as though, well, Brock Purdy is a star, and Kenny Pickett, well, he needs to show us something. If I said to you, Kenny Pickett is a better quarterback than Brock Purdy, and over the course of time, that will 100% show itself to be true. Is that right?
That's 100% right. I just think Brock Purdy went to a better situation, and Pittsburgh is quickly, patched up the holes that they had on the offensive line. You think about the Pittsburgh Steelers, you think about their skill positions, you think about a number 1 first-round draft pick at running back, 2 premier outside pass rushers, pass catchers, and also Fairmouth at tight end. This is the Pittsburgh Steelers of old. This is the Ben Roethlisberger type of personnel, nasty on defense, multiple on offense, with guys that can make you pay on the outside.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not on the bandwagon all the way with the Steelers yet. I believe they'll be improved, but I don't know that they yet have the ability to throw the elbows they're going to need to throw in the AFC and the AFC North specifically. I think we do need to see more from Pickett. I obviously a great second half last year, but we have seen young players that, ascend and then dip again before ascending again. Like, they may be in that kind of zone. The offensive line, maybe it's the best they've had in years. That's not saying much. They've been terrible on the line for the last several years.
I have 2 reasons why I think they're going to be much better, and that man's name are both of them, George and Pickens. I think that guy, what Pickett has is what every young quarterback is dying for, and that is a dominant number 1 receiver. I don't know that the world knows it yet, but they're going to this year. That guy catches absolutely everything, and that combination is going to be dynamite this year.
It's real nice to have a panic player. Not that Pickett panics, but it's nice to be like, oh, crap. Let me just throw it over there.
Right.
And you feel comfortable about, if nothing else, it's going to be incomplete, and it might be 30, 40-yard gain. So that's a real helpful situation to have when you don't have to read the defense. You're confused about what they're doing. Throw it over there to the big guy who plays like a linebacker with a linebacker's mentality. I would hate to play against him.
So you're saying that if Pickett panics, he's got Pickens?
You love
the elocution is my favorite thing. Go.
And I think Deontay Johnson is the better receiver. I mean, he's the more explosive receiver, so he's the number 2. And the Pittsburgh Steelers that can do 2 things. They can identify pass rushers, and they can identify wide receivers. I don't care. I trust whatever wide receiver they pick, whether you want to talk about Santonio Holmes, Antonio Brown, Emmanuel Sanders, Hines Ward. It goes on and on. Plexico Burress. They just do that well. And they come to Pittsburgh, and they learn how to play position.
Put the picks up on the screen while I make the following statement. We're split down the middle on this thing.
Whoa. I picked San Francisco?
Well, yes, yes, you did. I mean, I've got it written down on a piece of paper here.
I like that you asked. It sounded genuine, too.
That was Thursday, Bart, that made that fit.
You need to take these.
Friday, Bart.
You need to take the conversation.
Man, y'all gotta send me my notes from my production meeting.
We need to send Bart his own notes from his pre-show call before we get started. So I take that to mean he actually thinks Pittsburgh is going to win. But here's the more important point.
You get it in hours.
How about if I said this, because I'm on a roll today?
Yeah.
How about if I said to you that by Thanksgiving, Sam Darnold is going to be the quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers? What do you think of that?
Wow. Well, I hope that Purdy is healthy. I don't think that we'd be nearly as optimistic because I think we know Sam Darnold's ceiling.
No,
optimism
we
around
do?
Purdy.
Sam Darnold was the third pick in the draft with all the potential in the world. Everyone was tanking for him once upon a time, and now he is the quarterback guru. He's a 10 times more talented player than the kid in front of him.
The quarterback guru who just sent Trey Lance out of town. I'm not sure how much guruing he's done at quarterback. What Kyle Shanahan is good at is getting your bad quarterback to mediocre and your mediocre quarterback to great. I'm not sure that he's all that good at developing a quarterback. I'm not sure. I think he could get the best out of Sam Darnold, but Sam Darnold, I think the story is written. A lot of times when players have a rough start to their career, you can't really tell me too many stories of quarterbacks who've had disastrous starts, whether it's the organization's fault or not. You can't tell me the quarterbacks that have disastrous starts turn out to be like all pros later in their career. That's just not how it happens.
I can go Rich Gannon, and I can go Geno Smith.
Geno Smith.
I mean, there are.
tell you what. Listen, it is that. Listen.
Relax, fellas.
Listen. The Jets
only needs one good season.
The Jets were dysfunctional when Sam Darnold was there. It wasn't fair. That's why they allowed him to walk. But he is a talented quarterback. He just needed more experience.
If you're drafted in the first round, the league is replete with talented quarterbacks. They're all talented.
Look at the Marlboro man.
Bart,
nice job.
Bart has had quite a segment when it comes to the topic bars. First, he had hell no up there, and now we've actually allowed him to change his pick mid-segment.
Thank you so much,
That's
Raph.
special
I really
treatment.
appreciate you. I love you.
That's only because Cindy loves